Welcome to Positively Nerdy number 253, Ryan and Leah at the movies.
So lights, camera, action, tinsel time to go. Cheers for the premiere attraction, curtain up and on with the show. Behind the glitz, glamour, and grandeur is all more than it seems.
Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new episode of Positively Nerdy and the latest installment of Ryan and Leah at the movies. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Leah. Hello, everybody.
It's been 2 weeks.
It has been 2 weeks.
It has been long.
It's typically how it works on this podcast.
But not quite this time around, because I really thought we were going to have to do an episode last week. Because some stuff went down last week.
Nothing was as important as what happened today with the Magic Mike XXL preview debuting on the internets.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to be talking about that. No,
we just did.
We did.
And we're moving on. Last week, a whole lot of news broke, and I almost suggested to you that we record last week.
Yes.
I was like, let's skip it. Let's do back-to-back weeks, and then start a 2-week cycle from there, which I'm glad we didn't, because now we're going to butt up to the Oscars nicely. But there was a lot that went down last week. And for the first time, maybe ever, we had a variety of people reaching out to us wanting our opinions on all sorts of things.
Yes.
So, friends like Rob, Sarah,
Mike Lacey,
yep. And I'm blanking on a few other people. But it was kind of nice to have people want that. And I kind of, because I knew it was going to be so long, I kind of slipped a little bit, but I didn't want to be super dickish and just say, wait for the podcast, because by now this is kind of old news. But
Right.
This is our first chance to talk about it, so you're going to hear about it. The big one, I think.
Here we go.
Well, one of the two big ones. Let's start with Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Because that teaser trailer finally came out, because the movie comes out in August, which I guess is about right, but it seemed like, we hadn't seen anything from this movie, and I think people were really starting to kind of wonder why we hadn't seen anything yet. And maybe Star Wars has ruined that for everybody, because Star Wars' teaser is out, and that movie doesn't come out till December. But I'll let you... No, actually, you know what? I'm going to start.
Okay, you start.
Because you're going to have a very, very different take
I do.
on this from everyone else. And
I do.
That's going to be good. I get it and I don't get it all at the same time in terms of the internet's reaction to this trailer. So the trailer itself is very dark, and I mean that in more than one way. It's almost monochromatic. It's not very colorful. It's not very exciting.
Why do you think they did that?
I don't know.
Okay, I was just
Probably
curious.
because the main complaint of the original Fantastic Four movies is that they were too wacky and too cartoony.
Fantastical.
And well, yeah. This one looks fantastical too in a very different way. This one looks much more like a science fiction movie.
Yeah, it really
Than a
does have that
superhero
vibe.
movie. It looks like it fits, like it'll fit right in with the current sci-fi offerings. It looks very Interstellar. It looks very Elysium. It looks very, I don't know, some of the other current sci-fi offerings.
Snowpiercer.
Yeah, kind of in mood and tone. It has that. So it's not very Fantastic Four-y, and I get that. And of course, this re-raised all the fervor over Michael B. Jordan being cast as Human Torch, which I guess the last bit I'm going to say about it is, if he makes me believe he's Johnny Storm, I don't care. And
Michael B. Jordan, I trust. I love him.
It's very superficial, but they got him working on a hot rod in the trailer. It's a pretty Johnny Storm thing to do. Granted, he looks a little more somber than Johnny Storm usually does. I can't stand the internet acting like they know everything about Fantastic Four. And granted, a lot of them probably do. But the Fantastic Four is very near and dear to my heart. Alongside Spider-Man, it's the one comic I've been reading since I was a kid. And I enjoy the first two movies only because they're fantastic. They drive me nuts, quite honestly. There's so many things they do in those movies. And nobody complained when those movies came out and Alicia Masters was black in those movies, and she's not in the comics, but I guess it's because it's Alicia Masters. Nobody cares about Alicia Masters. If Ben Grimm hates being the Thing in this movie, it will just skyrocket it above so many other movies, because the fact that Ben Grimm is okay with being the Thing in the first two movies drives me absolutely bonkers. If a third of the people complaining about how mistreated the Fantastic Four are being, we're actually reading the comics, it'd be one of the best-selling comic books on the shelves right now, instead of tanking like it is right now, which is too bad because what James Robinson is doing with the series right now is awesome. But I just feel like people are taking ownership of something they have no idea, like that's their justification for being angry. Is taking ownership of something they're not really fully behind. I'm not saying you don't know who the Fantastic Four are, but it seems like, I don't know, that's the perception I get. There is more weight and substance in this 90-second teaser than there is in 2 whole movies combined from the previous 2.
Yes.
Like they're very just light and superficial, and again, I enjoy them for what they are, and I get very defensive of the Fantastic Four constantly, and the latest teaser is just the most recent example of me doing that. And I tend to come to the defense of the underdog quite a bit anyway. I mean, I've been a Lions fan since I understood how football was played. Backing a loser is sometimes what I do, because this movie might turn out to be utter crap, but I really enjoyed the teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't appear to be a sign. It just, if you didn't know anything about the Fantastic Four, you would have no idea that they're supposed to be superheroes.
No.
At all. And I don't know if that's good or bad, to be honest with you. A different approach, I don't think that's a bad thing. But in your trailer, I think you need to... But it is the Fantastic Four. Who doesn't know who they are? But so now I'm rambling.
You are.
Leah, you've got a very, very different take on this movie and the teaser and everything, really.
Well, I don't really know much at all about the Fantastic Four, except for the 4 characters in the movies and the fact that you love them. That's pretty much my knowledge of the Fantastic Four. And I've been excited about this movie for a while because of the cast alone. Miles Teller, Kate Mara, Michael B. Jordan, Jamie Bell, all 4 main characters, awesome. All 4 actors I thoroughly enjoy and love. I think they're pretty well cast. Ooh, don't slay me. But I really like Michael B. Jordan a lot, and I think that he'll be a great Johnny Storm. It's just going to be interesting what their take is of him in the film. As you said, we don't see a whole lot of the essence of their characters in the film outside of little snippets.
Yeah, we get like 2 lines of dialogue from Reed. I'm pretty sure the narration of the teaser is Doom. That's my guess anyway. And we don't get anything from anybody else really.
But for not knowing anything, I was looking at this just solely as a teaser trailer for, like sitting in the theater, didn't know anything about it, watching it. I tried to have that perspective, not knowing that it was the Fantastic Four teaser trailer, And I thought it was really well done. It had some interesting edit cuts, kind of flowed together really nicely. It piqued my interest. It did. But I would agree, if I didn't know that it was Fantastic Four, I wouldn't know it was a comic book movie.
They were superheroes.
I wouldn't know that they were superheroes. But I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that's interesting, different take on it. And like you said, the other one was so fantastical. This one is seeming like it's setting more in the realm of reality as much as the Fantastic Four can. Mm-hmm. So I'm super excited about it.
Right.
I really am. And I think that, we just need to wait and see what it's going to be. But, it's... Every couple of years, we're going to reboot again, and, people are going to get all worked up about that, too, and, we're just going to keep going through this cycle.
Right. I think part of the reason, too, with Michael B. Jordan is the Human Torch, Johnny Storm, was the bright, shining star, I guess pun intended, of the original movies.
Right.
Because who doesn't love Chris Evans? And he was an awesome Johnny Storm. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably part of it, and you're changing the dynamic a little bit because now Sue and Johnny aren't brother and sister.
Right.
I suppose, kids who are adopted would maybe want to argue that point. That, if I was adopted by someone and I grew up with them, I'm just as much...
Yeah, and I would agree with that.
And that's fine. And again, as long as he makes me believe he's Johnny, all they have to do is bicker and argue to be brother and sister, and that's fine. The notion that the Fantastic Four is this happy-go-lucky group of this family is totally off to me. Like, again, Ben should be resentful, although he learns to live with it, of the fact that he's the thing, and blaming Reed for it. And it looks like in this iteration they're going more with the ultimate version, so it'll probably be Doom's fault, not necessarily quote-unquote Reed's fault. I mean, in the comics, it's one disaster after another. The kids are being taken away. Sue and Reed are on the brink of divorce constantly. Johnny's pissing everybody off. Ben's upset with his situation. Right. It's not always just sunshine and rainbows, but I don't know if this is going too far the other way though either.
Well, and if you like the two new X-Men movies, the screenplay is written by the same man, Simon Kinberg. He's also writing Apocalypse as well. He did a great job with the X-Men films.
He did.
And everybody thought, including Mr. Ryan Porter sitting next to me, thought X-Men...
First Class?
Yep, First Class was going to be a big pile.
I did think it was going to be a big
and it ended up
pile.
being awesome.
You're not wrong about that.
So
I will say devil's advocate on the writers. The same men who brought us the 2009 reboot of Star Trek are also responsible for Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. So there you go.
Interestingly enough, though, the same writer also wrote X-Men 3: The Last Stand.
There you go. See?
He did write that. But if I take a look at the last few things he wrote, I think, he also wrote he's the creator of Star Wars Rebels, apparently.
Oh.
So there you go. Yep, bam.
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
This dude's pretty cool.
Moving on to...
I think he's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Moving on to last week's other interesting bit of news. They finally announced the all-female cast of the new Ghostbusters movie.
They absolutely did. Yes.
And
the internet exploded a second time.
The internet was tore asunder yet again. I think this is one I'm more in the middle. I've been defending Fantastic Four trailer since it came out. This one, I'm not so clearly drawing a line in the sand on this one. Because I understand why people are upset, but I don't understand why people are as upset as they are.
Right.
I'm not jumping up and down over this. I'm not excited about it, but I'm not against it either. And I feel this way, and I think most people feel this way for a couple of reasons. One, I love the movie Ghostbusters. As anyone who has ever seen it would probably say the same thing. On a scale of 1 to 10, most people would probably rate it a 27. And you're smirking at me because...
I'm only smirking because I have to admit something very shameful on this podcast right now. I have never seen Ghostbusters. Not because I don't want to. I just haven't. And I will fix that. I will fix that.
You better.
Continue.
People
I had to get it off my chest.
love Ghostbusters. Love it.
Yeah.
Brilliant cast. Goofy story. Brilliant cast. You could say that a million times. People, I don't know if it's the gimmick of them being all female that's bothering people, which I don't understand. I don't know. Are you upset that women are trying to be funny? Are you upset that women are trying to be scientists? I don't know. To me, I think part of the problem though is you have an opportunity. If you're going to say an all female cast, I said great, and then they announced the cast, and I was like, say what? Because I know who Kristen Wiig is, and I know who Melissa McCarthy is, and I kind of sort of recognize one of them. Kate McKinnon, and I have no idea who this other woman is.
Leslie Jones.
Yes. And I think that's part of people's problems too. If you had gone with the cream of the crop, best of the best female comedians, people would probably have a lot less of a problem with
How do you know this woman isn't the cream of the crop?
Because I don't know who she is.
I'm not saying that but maybe, she is awesome. Who knows?
I'm not saying she's not awesome, but it's hard for me or anyone else.
I see what you're saying.
To get excited about it if we don't know who she is.
I get it.
That's what I'm
take a breath.
You take a breath.
You.
Reboot versus sequel or continuation. There's a million different ways to go with a sequel. Mm-hmm. You could have it be a legacy thing where it's the original character's offspring, or at least one of them are. You could have it franchised out. Now there's Ghostbusters in every major city. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different ways you could do it. And as far as having female Ghostbusters, well, they've been doing it in the comics and the cartoons for years.
Right.
This is not a new concept at all. But it's a reboot. It has nothing to do apparently with the original films. So why call it Ghostbusters? That's not a question I can answer. But if you're upset about this, you should be glad it's a reboot.
Right.
Because now it doesn't tread on that holy ground at all. Mm-hmm. Ghostbusters 1 and 2 are in their own little shell, and if you want to include the comics or the cartoons as part of that continuity, knock yourself out.
Right.
But as I will say forever, those movies still exist. This does not ruin your childhood. This does not destroy those movies. You can still go sit down and watch Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and you should watch 2 because 2's awesome, which, by the way, all of a sudden now everybody loves 2, and I've just listened to people bash 2 left and right for years, and now all of a sudden 2 is this shiny beacon of cinema excellence as soon as something comes out that they don't like. But
well, it is going to be directed and written by Paul Feig,
yes,
who created or directed Bridesmaids
right.
and The Heat. So he really loves Kristen Wiig and
Right. Those two were a given. As soon as you knew he was involved, those two were a given.
Right. Which I think are great choices. They're both really funny, great actresses. I mean, who can dispute?
I like Melissa McCarthy.
You can stand.
I can stand. That's a great way to put it. I can stand Kristen Wiig. And these other two, what's her name again?
Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon. I've seen her on SNL a few times. I rarely watch SNL these days, and I've not been impressed with what I've seen of her on SNL. That's not to say I've seen the full range of yada yada yada. I don't know if.
Apparently, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler weren't available. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they wanted nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
And they don't need it, quite honestly. And this is a big break for the other half of this group.
Yes.
I'll go see it because, but I can't say that I'm excited about it either.
Well, let's just wait and see. There's a long way.
Well, it's kind of, I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But I will defend Fantastic Four until it comes out. And then if I'm proven wrong, everybody will let me know about it because I've been very vocal about defending this movie, aside from the fact that Doom is apparently a blogger. But, all right. Are we done with Ghostbusters?
Sure.
More comic book news, because I know that's what you want to hear. Coming up fast, April 10th, Daredevil hits Netflix, and we got our first trailer. Unfortunately, it was just a teaser, and unfortunately, it didn't give us very much. Leah, as a relative unknown to the world of The Man Without Fear, what were your thoughts on the
Looks
trailer?
good. I'll watch it. No, I thought it was really well done. It actually didn't feel like TV to me. It felt very much like a movie trailer.
Yeah.
The way it was done. And that was probably why it was shorter, too. I mean...
It could be. Well, you remarked that his costume looked weird. Right? Didn't you say something like that?
I said the edit. No, there was
the edit.
There was some weird edits in the
because
preview.
pretty much everything we saw in this trailer, I'm guessing, comes from the first few episodes. Because it's very much his coming into his own as a hero costume.
Right.
He doesn't have
his origin story.
It is his, obviously. Right. But with
no, I know, but I was
15 hours,
right.
You can do that. You can take your time with that. You don't have to get him in costume in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You've got some time to do that.
Right.
And I like that they're not tipping their hat too much. They weren't kidding. Marvel said all along this is going to be street level, and they weren't kidding about that. There's quite a bit of blood in this trailer. Really gritty, and people can complain about grittiness in the Fantastic Four, and that's fine. You can't complain about Daredevil being too gritty. And this looks like it captures that pretty well. We get little flashes of everybody. Don't give us Kingpin full on yet, which was kind of cool. We got his back, and that was
building it up.
It was pretty awesome. So I thought it was a great teaser.
Yeah.
I've already been excited for this, but
Netflix makes great shows.
yeah, and
Combined with Marvel.
Yeah, the casting news is rolling. I actually didn't think I was going to talk about this, but David Tennant is going to play the Purple Man, and AKA Jessica Jones, and what's her name? Carrie Ann Moss. Is going to be they just said an ally for Jessica Jones as well. So Carrie Ann Moss sighting. There you go. You don't even have to watch The Matrix again to see Carrie Ann Moss now.
Who knew she still existed?
No one.
Rosario Dawson looks pretty awesome in it as well. You only saw her briefly in the trailer, but
yeah, just a quick shot.
I'm excited about her. And the actress's name is Deborah Ann Wolfe, but she was on True Blood.
Yeah, Karen Page.
Yes.
Not a happy story. Yeah, I guess that's a tease. It's not really spoiling anything, but it's not a happy story there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think the fact that it's going to be 15, is it 15? Yeah,
it's
13 episodes. Still, that's a pretty incredible arc you get to do.
Yeah, it'll be awesome to see what they build.
And you can watch it kind of boom, boom, boom.
Thank you, Netflix.
Yes, indeed. Who doesn't love Chris Pratt? No one raised their hand when I asked that. Or no one better have raised their hand when I asked that.
Everybody loves Chris Pratt in this house.
I wonder, though, if his goodwill is enough to stomach being cast as Indiana Jones.
Why do you say that?
Because for the same reasons that people can't stomach a new Ghostbusters. People love them some Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. I've long maintained, since Disney acquired the rights to Indiana Jones, if you're going to do it, just do it. Let's make Indiana Jones the new James Bond. Gimme. I want a movie every 3 years.
Right.
Every so often you recast, and Some people never got over Sean Connery as James Bond. And that's fine, because everybody's got their favorites. And one of my favorite movies is one of the worst James Bonds ever. But I still love For Your Eyes Only. Don't tell me it's not awesome. It is awesome, even though Roger Moore is Roger Moore. Pierce Brosnan movies I loved because I was in junior high and high school when those movies were coming out. I watch them now, and I want to barf my eyes out. They're awful, except for GoldenEye. GoldenEye's still cool. But I think that could be interesting to do with Indiana Jones. Chris Pratt, again, he has enough goodwill that he's probably one of a few actors, if anybody could get away with it, of saying, here's your new Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I love Chris Pratt, but who thought we'd live in a world where there were going to be more Star Wars too? People move on.
No, that's...
Embrace.
Yes, I agree.
Does anyone want another Crystal Skull? I mean, come on.
Right? Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
And Harrison Ford's awesome, and he's great as Indiana Jones, but he's an old man now, and it's time to get somebody else.
I don't want old Indy. I don't. I want young Indy. I know it's not the same.
So James Bond never ages.
And again, that original trilogy, because most people refer to those 4 movies still as a trilogy, those will exist forever. Right. You're not ruining them by, if 30 years from now, somebody else is playing Indiana Jones. I think it's cool that to me is a cool idea. And Chris Pratt is Star-Lord, Jurassic World. Speaking of which, how awesome was that Super Bowl?
It was awesome. Can we
trailer.
stop? Yeah, I just want to say one more thing about Chris Pratt and Indiana Jones.
Yes.
He's just got enough of he obviously can play badass. You know what I mean? He is funny. He's got the right amount of charm.
Star-Lord is very Indiana Jones-esque.
Who doesn't want to hug Chris Pratt?
Everybody
Who doesn't? Especially after you watched the photobombing on The Tonight Show.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That was the funniest 3 minutes I've seen in a long time. All right. I digress. Anyways, Jurassic World.
Just real quick. I loved the Jurassic World Super Bowl trailer. I'm so torn on the trained Raptors thing. Because I'd be all right if the movie ends with them eating his face off. Because they're trained, yeah, but hopefully they're still like wild animals. There's still that unpredictability factor to it. I'm really, really torn because the
scene with him riding on the bike or whatever with the raptors around him kind of looked a little Star Wars-esque, unlike the.
It kind of had a little, somebody on a little one-person transport surrounded by weird creatures. Yep. That's very Star Wars. Yeah, you're not wrong there. I was 11 when Jurassic Park came out. And a big part of me watching this trailer is 11-year-old Ryan watching this trailer. And 11-year-old Ryan would have eaten up trained velociraptors in a second. So
let's be honest, adult Ryan is pretty excited about
adult Ryan's like, and then 11-year-old Ryan's like, yee! So I'm definitely more on the camp than that can't happen. But genetically creating dinosaurs can't happen either. I was going to say,
what about Jurassic Park is in the realm of reality?
It's not.
Right.
And yes, we know now for the most part that dinosaurs had feathers, and none of these dinosaurs have feathers. Who cares? Moving on.
And they'd look a little, that's just
not look dumb. Even if that's what they look like, they look dumb. I don't want feathers on my velociraptor. All right.
I want to live in a world of oblivion.
Pretty much.
And I don't want to know scientific fact.
It's remarkable to me how much dinosaur knowledge has come across in the last 10 years. It's insane because I've started to get back into it a little bit more because our son, I want to say he's into dinosaurs. He just thinks they look cool. He
runs around and roars a lot.
Rah! When he sees one. And so that's him being into it. But that's kind of gotten me into it a little bit. And I'm like, what do you mean a Triceratops didn't exist? And all sorts of other things. Like, it's just remarkable, the discoveries. But when we were little, I remember like the big revelation when I was little was dinosaurs don't drag their tails when they walk. They realized that, T-Rex doesn't walk like this. A T-Rex walks like this.
Yeah.
And visual on a podcast. How about that?
Right, that was really helpful. Thanks for that, Ryan.
They walk like you
see. Show don't tell.
Like you see them in Jurassic Park.
Right.
That's how they walk. But if you had a toy dinosaur as a kid, it was much more vertical and had its tail on the ground. Right. And I remember that being like this big thing. Because if I haven't said it before, I grew up.
Because the T-Rex you bought Shane for Christmas, it does not stand tall like that.
No.
It's on an angle.
Yeah. And if I haven't said it before, I wanted to be a paleontologist when I was a kid. that's where all of this is coming from. But now, like, I fell out of it and I stopped paying attention to that kind of stuff. And now I've gotten back into it, and there's feathers and there's no Triceratops, and it's just.
When did they get rid of Triceratops?
I got pissed and stopped reading the article. It was like, for some people, never got over Pluto getting demoted. You're trying to tell me there's not a Triceratops. I guess it's like the Brontosaurus thing. There's like, it's technically this or a different stage of that. This is a movie podcast, though.
There'll always be
Tune in next week for Dino Talk.
Always be Triceratops in my heart.
Yes, and most people, I stopped correcting a long time ago people that call Apatosaurus Brontosaurus. It's just not worth the fight, and now it's just not me worth knowing what a Triceratops was really called.
All right, moving on. Jurassic World looks awesome.
It does. Speaking of monsters, Disney is keeping this live action thing a rolling.
Keep the ball. Well, they're not going to reboot cartoons. They're not going to redo Cinderella.
I didn't think about it, like that. They're basically remaking it.
Mm-hmm. But they're not. They're just changing the medium.
But no one is calling it that. Mm-hmm. Adaptation sounds so much better than a reboot. Yeah. Oh my god! All right. We need to call. Get 20th Century Fox on the phone. It is the Fantastic Four adaptation. We got some stellar news, though, in my humble opinion, regarding some casting for the live-action Beauty and the Beast, and that is that Emma Watson is going to be playing Belle.
Wow, is that perfect casting or what? And
she's pretty much Belle in real life.
Yes. And she has been really selective about her films post-Harry Potter. Made some really good stuff, too. And that makes me put a lot of buy into this movie if she's choosing to make it.
Well, I found out she was actually cast as Belle, or not cast technically, but had committed to play or whatever, Belle in Guillermo del Toro's Beast.
Nice.
Which was like his version of Beauty and the Beast. And that fell through.
Okay.
And Disney was like, hey, we're stealing your really good idea. And Guillermo said, go ahead. And Emma Watson said, I still want to play Belle. Let's do this. And like I said, she's basically Belle in real life. Belle is definitely one of my favorite Disney princesses for all the reasons.
Play another book nerd.
Basically, yeah, right? She's kind of done this bit once before. But she's just perfect as Belle.
Yeah,
that's just
love her.
Awesome.
Love her.
Awesome casting. We can't even really go into it more than that.
Nope.
She's
and that's
perfect.
all we know. So.
That's the other thing. Do you have any rampant speculation on Gaston? Who's a big brawny jerk?
Oh, gosh. Chris Pratt. No kidding. I have no idea.
No idea either. That was a spur of the moment. I didn't expect you to come up with anything. But throw that out. Somebody's yelling at their iPod right now.
Yep.
So. More casting news, more potentially kick-ass women casting news as well. Felicity Jones has been cast as the lead in Gareth Edwards' Star Wars standalone movie.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Which apparently starts filming relatively soon. I mean, the only casting that we know of, at least, is Felicity Jones, who just came off of
Theory of Everything, nominated for an Oscar.
And she had a small part in Amazing Spider-Man 2. We don't know who she's playing. I will say she's a dead ringer for a young Princess Leia.
Yep.
I hope that's not the case. I really would like to see them go into unexplored corners with these standalone movies.
Right.
I just think that giving everybody an origin story is not the way to go.
Right. They might start with that, though, to get people to buy into the standalone stories.
Yeah. There's a rumor out there, and I don't know where it came from, but I'm not putting anything behind it, but it piqued my interest in that there's speculation that one of these standalones is going to be the story of how the rebels got a hold of the Death Star plans, and apparently involves a group of bounty hunters.
So
that sounds like something I want to go see, but whether or not that's what this is, and whether or not that's ever going to happen, again, I'm not going to lose sleep over hoping that that's what it is, but yeah, some Star Wars casting news. And again, that's all we know.
I really like Felicity Jones on Theory of Everything. She's a really interesting actress. I don't think I'm sure I've seen her in other things, obviously Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I'm really intrigued by this.
Right, and she's not a household name.
No.
And I mean, we saw that with the casting of The Force Awakens, as it's known now.
Right.
And go all the way back to the beginning of this episode, Fantastic Four, love it or hate it, it definitely features a who's who of young Hollywood. Yep. These are some real up and comers. Miles Tellerman's not nominated, but he's in Whiplash, which is being talked about a lot because of J.K. Simmons' nomination. What's his face?
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara's, and
Fruitvale Station.
House of Cards.
Yep.
And the guy who's playing Doom played Koba in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
That's awesome, actually. Because Koba's, well, you love to hate him.
Yes, exactly.
Koba.
All right, and now it is time to end the news and head into some reviews.
We're going to talk about movies?
We're actually going
If
to talk
we've still
about...
got people listening.
Right? I don't even know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of news to talk about. Leah Cinematic Consultation this week.
I am super stoked to talk about this movie because I really think, for those of you that have not watched one of my cinematic consultations, you might actually want to watch this one. In fact, I highly recommend you watch this one. So, when we did the top 10 list for 2014, I had read about this movie on that 25 movies of 2014 from BuzzFeed. I know, blah, blah, blah. And I really wanted to see it.
Unflushable turd in the toilet of the
After I
internet.
did a little research on it, I really want to see it. Mostly because it has Elizabeth Moss in it, who I really love. And outside of Frosty Returns, she made some pretty good stuff. So I had to do it.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So, and then when we did the top 10 podcast, our friend Allison put this movie on her list, which made me even want to see it more.
Sure.
So you're probably like, what movie is this that she's talking about? Well, the movie is called The One I Love. And it is not, don't be deceived by the title. It definitely starts out how you would expect in terms of the title. It is about a couple, Ethan and Sophie, who are really struggling in their marriage due to an infidelity that Ethan has done and committed. And the first part of the movie is kind of seeing how kind of like on the brink their relationship is to totally dissolving. They're going to couples counseling, couples therapy to try to work through this really rough time in their marriage. And their counselor, who is played by Ted Danson,
Nice.
randomly, suggests that they go away for a weekend together to like this like amazing property and home that he has some connection to. He doesn't own it, but like he sends other couples there. Like it's this place that, you know, like to kind of like reconnect or whatever. So the movie starts out innocently enough. They take this trip. That's basically where they're going in the film. And, you know, you're kind of seeing what they're doing there and, you know, they're kind of reconnecting and things. And then the movie takes this insane twist. I can't even tell you. I don't want to ruin it.
Uh-oh.
I don't want to ruin it for you. But it kind of morphs into like a sci-fi thriller film. That's all I'm going to say. It's kind of out there. It borders sci-fi, it borders thriller. Like, there were so many times when I was watching the film that I was like, what's going to happen? Like, it has this very creepy kind of vibe to it. There's, like, a lot of supernatural sci-fi kind of elements to it. Huh. It's insane.
Would I make it through it?
Yeah, I think you would.
I would.
It's really interesting.
We might have to have our first ever Ryan's rebuttal
to
to Aaliyah's cinematic consultation.
I finally talked Ryan into watching one of the films I'm suggesting. It's 2015 Miracle. Okay, so anyways, I don't want to divulge. It just takes a ridiculously fascinating and insane twist, okay? So I was totally engrossed by the film and was not at all anticipating what happened. It's just kind of nuts. It's just, and it's very, very unique. I just really, really loved it, and I really hope you give it a chance because, like I said, it's unlike anything I've ever seen before. It was just totally original and different. And you can check it out on Netflix, so it's nice and easy if you have access to that. So check it out, and the title, again, is The One I Love.
Awesome.
So I really hope you see it. And if you do, and if you have, message us. I'd love to hear from you. I really would like to talk more about this film to other people.
Was it on anybody else's top 10? Do you
Just
remember?
Allison's
Just Allison?
that I can remember.
Okay. It probably would have stood out, though. If
Yes.
somebody else
Because
had it.
I, as soon as I read it off that list, I knew I had read about the film, but I had not seen it yet.
Sure.
So, yes. It would not have made my top 10,
No.
but it was a really, really awesome, fascinating film.
Okay. And you're actually, your turn again.
Thank you. And with that awesome segue,
Well, you're the only one of us that have been to the movies in the last 2
that's
weeks.
true. And we've only seen one. We went through like a marathon of movie seeing, and then there's been a little bit of a dry spell, but we're going on the uphill again.
We're rearing up again. There's some craptastic offerings here in February, so
Jupiter Ascending comes out on
yeah,
Friday.
yes it does.
Not gonna lie, still want to see it.
I'm gonna have to sneak out and see it.
All right, so the movie I'm going to talk about is the film Cake. For those of you that don't know, Cake is a small film, but it got a huge release here in our area. All 3 of our major theaters got it. Stars Jennifer Aniston, which she has been getting many, many accolades for her performance in this film. Nominated for Golden Globe, nominated for a SAG nomination, majorly snubbed by the Academy Awards. Of course, when we talked about snubs on our last podcast, I had not seen this film, had mentioned her because it was a big snub that was like around.
Other people were talking about it.
Yeah, but had not seen the film. So the movie is massively depressing. I'm just going to say that. It is one of the saddest movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And that's really saying something because I really like sad movies.
Yes, you do.
And I
you
really
just guaranteed that I will never see this.
It is such a beautiful film, though. I don't even know how to describe it. The film itself is about her character, Claire, is dealing with chronic pain. And you don't know why. Pieces of her life are revealed throughout the film. But not in a, like, in-your-face way. In a very natural kind of human way of learning about somebody. If you were like to take a peek into her life, she's obviously she's alone. She doesn't have anything really that seems meaningful in her life. She has this housekeeper that basically takes care of her because she's like a borderline drug addict because of the pain that she's in.
Okay.
And she becomes obsessed with this woman named Nina who kills herself from her chronic pain group. She jumps off of one of the freeway passes in Los Angeles and kills herself. And she becomes like totally engrossed with what happened to her. And she kind of like brings herself into the life of her widow and son in kind of a weird way. So that's kind of interweaved throughout the film. But as the movie goes on, it is revealed about the things that have happened in her life. And it is just the saddest. I don't even know how to explain it. And I am sad about that because I thought a week later I would be able to put into words what I felt about this film. But honestly, I'm not sure I've seen a more beautiful and like heartbreaking performance as I saw from Jennifer Aniston in this film. And what really frustrates me is that they said like she went ugly for this movie, which is ridiculous. In my opinion, she looks like herself, except for the fact that she is playing a character that is grappling with severe loss, severe pain, and just is choosing not to put makeup on in the morning. Like, I by no means would say that she, like, got ugly for this role.
She didn't Nanny McPhee it up or anything.
No, it's ridiculous. Like, so because a woman doesn't wear makeup in a film, she's ugly all of a sudden. Like, it really is just appalling to me.
Hollywood.
It is an absolute crime that she was not nominated for this film. It might be one of the best performances I've ever seen on screen by a female. Wow. It will stick with me for a really long time. It was an absolutely stunning film. And the way it was done was just really unique. I mean, the storylines it tackles isn't necessarily unique, but the way that it is put together and done is just beautiful and heartbreaking. And I am so, so happy I saw it because I'll be honest, when it came out, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to take the time to see it because I'll see it when it comes out, on Blu-ray because...
And I got snubbed and you want to prioritize what got nominated.
And I am so, so happy I saw it. It was just an incredibly beautiful film. And I know probably no one that listens to this podcast will see it, but to me, it really touched my heart. I don't know if I can bear to watch it again because of how sad it was, but it really... it'll stay with me for a really long time. It was just an incredible, incredible film. And the way it was done was just amazing. And I loved it as much as you can love a film like that, I guess. So.
Quick question.
Yes.
Does anyone in the film eat cake?
Yes.
Is that why it's called Cake?
There is a, yes, it kind of arcs.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought I was being a smart ass.
I can tell this without, revealing the film. The character Nina that kills herself, they were talking about if you had one pain-free day, what would you do? And she says in their group that she would want to make a homemade birthday cake for her son.
Okay.
And it comes full circle at the end. Jennifer Aniston's character, Claire, is not able to make the cake, but she asks somebody to make it for her and then is able to take this homemade cake to Nina's son for his birthday. It's a really beautiful scene, actually.
Gotcha.
But anyway,
so yes, there is a reason it's called Cake.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, it can't be all bad if there's cake.
And Nina Kendrick's in it.
Nice.
She plays Nina. In fact, part of what
the daughter of the woman who killed herself.
No, Nina is the one who killed herself. Oh. But Claire, Jennifer Aniston's character is kind of a hallucinating or like dreaming, having nightmares of like interactions with her dead
Gotcha. So
Like-
she's still around
like-
even after she dies.
Yeah, like talking to her about her choices with integrating herself within her family and things like that. And
Gotcha.
it's really interesting. Sam Worthington's in it too, who
Okay.
I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And Chris Messina. Very small role, but I love him.
Awesome.
So, anyways, it's a beautiful film, and I hope that you give it a chance.
All right.
Ryan won't be, but maybe
I
somebody
won't.
else will.
I won't be, even with Anna Kendrick. All right. This next one we're gonna wrap up with is not technically craptastic cinema, but it might as well be. Leah and I sat down, decided we were gonna stick it to North Korea, and watched The Interview.
Because we live in America, damn it, and we can watch
That's
any movies
right.
we
We
want.
watch any movie we want, including 50 Shades of Grey, despite the massive amount of protests in our area. And I'm sure there are pockets of them everywhere.
Yep.
But not
right.
giving those people any more pub. The Interview. What do we want to start with this? We want to start with expectations? Do we want to just jump
Well,
right
I
in?
mean, we made it through.
I didn't think we were going to.
It
After
was-
20 minutes, I didn't think
It was really difficult. I'm not gonna lie.
I was doing other things while we were watching it.
Yeah, which is unheard of.
I
for
never
Ryan.
do other things when I'm watching a movie for the first time.
Yes.
Sometimes not even for the second time, or the third, or fourth, depends. Avengers hooks you in. That's all I'm going to say. It was so bad.
I have to say that when I originally saw the previews, pre any of the drama that came
Sure,
along with the movie,
yeah.
it did definitely look dumb. It did not look like
Their best
qualities.
effort,
Their best
yeah.
effort. But it did look like it had funny parts.
Yeah.
And then we watched the movie, and it had 3 funny parts.
I legitimately laughed twice.
Uh-huh.
Twice. I know how many times I legitimately laughed in a comedy. That's bad. That's bad.
Tell them the 2 times.
Well, if you haven't seen it, James Franco's discussion of the unsatisfying money shot
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
was I thought that was hilarious, and that was much more what I expect from these guys in this type of movie, with just the rambling joke,
Right.
I guess is the best way to put it, and I thought that was great. The second one was a running gag that didn't pay off until the final gag. The whole time, James Franco's character is comparing all these things that aren't really comparable to The Lord of the Rings. Well, it's just like Frodo. No, it's not. Like this whole, and it was really tedious, but it paid off spectacularly at the end. I don't want to give it away, but I could not help myself. I laughed quite a bit at that.
It was pretty funny.
And that was it.
Yeah.
You said 3. Was there
I
one?
thought there was a third
Was
time.
there
I
one
might have
missed?
giggled at something that I don't remember now.
Yeah. Well, I was just curious.
The thing is that, like, okay, for example, like, This Is the End
Yeah.
was a dumb movie. But it was hilarious. Like, it was so, like, well done in its stupidity. This, I just don't understand. Because they can both make pretty good films.
Yeah.
I like Seth Rogen for the most part.
I was gonna say earlier.
I liked it.
Earlier in 2014, we saw Neighbors.
Yeah, and that was
and enjoyed that.
It was quite enjoyable. James Franco, pretty good actor, funny
Yeah.
guy in many ways. This movie was terrible.
It
Was
was-
it just like they just wanted to hang out for a couple months?
It was
like,
really uncomfortable.
yeah.
Like,
it
I didn't
felt
even. I didn't
forced.
see you just said that they just want to hang out. I didn't get that. I didn't even get that they were having fun making this movie.
It just felt forced.
Like there was a few times when Seth Rogen was on, and I get that not everybody's a Seth Rogen fan, and people who aren't Seth Rogen fans, I will not argue with you at all. I get it. He's not for everybody, and I'm a fan. I'm not a diehard. I actually didn't. What I've yet to see it front to back, but what I've seen of This Is the End didn't really do it for me. But when
is pretty
Seth Rogen is being Seth Rogen, he's mumbling and saying weird things,
Like
and
the Seth Rogen of 40-Year-Old Virgin.
yes, and commenting on the absurdness that he's surrounded by.
Right.
That to me is on, and he did that a few times in this, but it was just off. It just didn't click.
Right.
And he and Franco apparently have this great rapport. That's, again, even though I don't like This Is the End, it's evident there. But
Right.
I didn't get that at all from this movie. Like, at all.
Right. Well, in Pineapple Express, same thing. Like or hate that movie. Like,
I can't stand
no, I know
Pineapple
you
Express.
can't, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying in terms of like their rapport between each other, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
The chemistry, the dynamic between the two was
Right.
much better in Pineapple
Well,
Express than it was in
Seth
this.
Rogen and Evan Goldberg, who wrote The Interview, they wrote it.
Yes. Well, we've had our discussions on writers producing gold and turds.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, like they did Superbad. That was their first movie that we actually saw, and that movie is
I haven't seen that
amazing.
in a long time. I need to watch that
So
again.
fantastic. So good. As is This Is the End. You know what I mean? In terms, you know, like that movie is just really, really well done. I just can't figure out how they thought that what they were making when they saw the finished product, like that it was even in the same arena as those films. Like, I get that sometimes you're not making your best, but that was like Adam Sandler quality crap.
Ugh,
You know what
right?
I'm saying? It was so bad.
We
Like,
should have watched Blended.
It was like really downgraded.
No, that's not true. We never should watch
I mean, it's gonna make me question the next time I see that they've made a movie.
Right? Yeah, you
and
second
I'm
guess
unfortunate
after
about
that.
that because I really like, for the most part, the things that Seth Rogen makes. Like you said, he's not like my favorite actor ever, but you know, Zack and Miri make a porno. I mean, he's made some really funny movies, and he's a funny guy in his own right. But this movie, I'm gonna say it. They should really be ashamed. It's not remotely funny. Like, I'm fine with inappropriate humor. I love inappropriate humor. It wasn't even like, it was just bad, and it had a lot of good actors in it. Really great ones actually from Veep. We saw a couple of our favorite Veep actors in it. The guy
Jonah.
Yeah, the guy that plays Jonah. And, oh my god, so funny.
Hepatitis J.
Yeah, in Veep. Not so much in this film, but
yeah, it's kind of a, I don't know, you don't want to call it a cameo.
and then
Cameos reserved for people.
The
you
actor that
recognize.
played Kim Jong Un, Randall Park.
Yeah, he's in Veep too. He plays one of the Democratic or the
so funny
presidential
in that show.
hopefuls.
And it was just, oh my god, it was just so.
It was bad. I wonder
bad.
if there was. I mean, I don't know if they would have canned it because it probably still would have come out. But do you think there was any way that they had to release it once the hype started, and the North Korea condemning it?
It was already. I mean, they were on the publicity circuit.
But movies go away. It's rare, but movies go away.
I find that very hard to believe. I don't think no one. I mean, I think it would have opened and
the
tanked.
North Korea condemning it started long before the hacks.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I mean, it was as soon as the trailer came out. This is when the.
Can you believe it was gonna have a Christmas Day release too?
Yeah.
Like a Christmas Day release.
Stoners got to see something on Christmas too.
I guess, but good night. Like, really?
Yeah.
Well, and this is what gives comedies a bad name too. Like, like this is why,
what
other
about,
comedies can't be looked at as quality films.
What about the controversy itself?
Was it worth
was it worth the hype?
No.
Yeah.
It was so ridiculous. I mean, Team America put Kim Jong-il in such a worse light and was so much more embedded in reality than this film. And that's really saying something because it was puppets.
Yeah.
Puppets, people.
Yep.
Yes. Anyway, I don't want to say.
What's
don't
the
waste your
opposite?
time.
I was gonna say, what's the opposite of a cinematic consultation?
Oh my gosh. Well, our friend Dave Beeson said it best, although he must not have oh my gosh,
Catched.
late.
Yes.
Caught Ryan's post about this film. And,
IR good grammar.
yes. It's late. It's been a long day. About this film, but he basically was telling people to.
I just saved you 2 hours.
Yes, I just saved you 2 hours.
It's terrible. I've saved you 2 hours.
Yes.
Yeah, it's basically what it is.
It's so bad. So bad. We very rarely say, don't give it a try. Oh, this is exactly what he said. You might think it would be a good idea to watch the interview. You would be wrong. I just saved you 2 hours of your life. Yeah.
Yep.
And please, spare yourself.
Yeah.
Unless you want to, because, damn it, we live in America.
Right,
We
you
can
live in
watch what we
America. You
want.
can watch whatever movie you want.
Thank you, though, Netflix, for putting it on there.
But if you
So
choose
have
not to
pay.
watch it, choose not to watch it because it's terrible, not because North Korea doesn't want you to.
Do you think it's the sort of movie that you see and you think is terrible, and then you watch it a second or third time, and then you find it funny?
I'll never know because I'll never watch it a second or third time.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just wondering. That just popped in my head as a possibility, but I don't know.
really
I
like
find
it's
it...
like I said, we almost stopped watching it.
Right,
It wasn't like I don't really like this movie, like because this is the end. Like I don't really like it, but sometimes if it's on
Or I'm watching it.
or
yeah.
you're watching it, I'll tune in for a
Mm-hmm.
few minutes.
You need to sit down and watch the whole thing. I think you'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I love everybody that's in it too, which is what I don't get.
Well, but you've only seen it in snippets. It really feels like a movie you need to see from start to finish.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, that was the interview.
If you have a differing opinion about the interview, we would love to hear it.
I wouldn't love to hear it. I'm willing to hear it, but I wouldn't love to hear it.
Don't waste your time.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
the moral of this story.
And that's our podcast. Well, hopefully everyone who was looking forward to our opinions got something out of them.
Yes.
You don't have to agree with us, and that's fine. Anyway, again, hopefully you enjoyed. If you wanted our opinions, you got them. I guess we'll just say that. And coming out, we mentioned Jupiter Ascending comes out this week.
Yep.
Seventh Son comes out this week.
Oh,
yeah, no, it looks terrible. I'll watch it when it comes to HBO though. And next week, The Kingsman.
Oh my God, that movie looks so awesome.
Nice little guilty pleasure going on. And what else comes out next week?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
50 Shades
50
of
Shades
Grey.
of Grey.
Which I will not have seen by the next time we see this podcast because I'm organizing a group.
Oh yeah,
viewing,
in the month.
But it won't be happening till the end of the month. So that will be post Oscars.
If it comes out,
yeah,
certain people have their way.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No.
It's going to make a ton of money.
But next podcast, we will be talking about the Academy Award nominations.
It'll be our Oscar preview special extravaganza.
And with any luck, we'll have finally seen Birdman, and we'll have a review of that
Fingers
film.
crossed.
And I'm really hoping I might be able to fit Whiplash in there if we can find it anywhere, because I really want to see that too. But at least Birdman, because we've been waiting since October for it.
Yeah.
And I need to see it.
We do need to see it.
Anyway, so
yeah, definitely tune in next time for the Oscar special. Always a fun episode.
Yes.
If you've not listened to it before and need a reason to tune in, basically we go down the list of nominees and we pick who we want to win and who we think will win. And unfortunately, they're not always the same.
Yep.
And yeah, basically go through that, get ready for the Oscars. Our next podcast will be the Friday before the Oscars. So at least we have that. Reaction will be 2 weeks later. So
Right.
only if something terribly stunning happens, it's still, we're talking about 2 weeks later, will happen. But hopefully
Unless Seth Rogen wins Best Actor for The Interview.
you'll pull a Harold Zoid. How are they gonna do
It's
that?
just a joke.
I hope somebody got that reference.
And the winner is... And the winner, instead of any of the nominees, is the legendary Harold Zoid!
Yeah, we'll see.
With that.
And with that, we say goodnight. So hopefully you'll tune in next time for our Oscar special, and hopefully you enjoyed this time around. Thank you so much for listening, as always. And until next time, celebrate movies, celebrate your fandom.